Oh yeah, you're looking at cringe today.
I only have about three to four, maybe 5-year-old sketchbooks that I allowed myself to keep, and I know that they're not complete because I would keep them usually throughout the span of a year, and I would tear out pages. I remember doing this as a teenager, and I am still incredibly upset by it, but that was just what insecurity did to me. Made me tear out old drawings that I didn't like anymore, because I remember having so many more full color pictures of all of the characters that I want to cover here, and it's just unfortunate. Like, if you are a baby artist, like, and that means any age, but you have just recently started drawing and are considering getting further into it and learning more, please, please keep your old drawings. I promise you will thank yourself for it. Not in several months down the line when you're looking at it and going, oh dear God, that is awful, but trust me, okay? You're gonna look back at them at one moment and be proud because they're terrible. And I mean that in the best way, because you've improved so much. And this is the hill that I want to die on, that you should save your old sketchbooks. I see so many people with like 10-year-old sketchbooks, and I'm so jealous. But I never thought about pursuing illustration until I was quite a bit older, and so a lot of my drawings that I thought were just pure crap, I threw away, and I still feel bad about it. But with what I have, we're gonna go through, and I'm gonna redraw some of the characters from my sketchbooks that I still have, probably starting from oldest to newest. This might be a recurring series because I have a couple, and I want to talk more about the individual series and what these characters are from. I'm probably just going to go for the most prominent character from each story because there were a lot to it with this character here. And this is probably one of my oldest characters. Her name is Mystery, and as you can see, she was she actually did fall into my teens, but I initially remember designing her when I was like 4, or not 5, like 6, and being like, I think her original story was that she was a little girl who stumbled into this world where she was a dog with superpowers. Yeah. And for some reason her name was Mystery, and she was covered in question marks, and because she was a Dalmatian, and the story developed as I got into my teens. It became like 7 different types of story, and eventually I dropped it because I just no. And it's still obviously close to my heart, and I would love to do something kind of in an homage to it. I think, and I'll talk about that as I draw her. I think that she had psychic powers, at least in one iteration. Their powers were kind of divvied up, and I don't totally remember all of them. I remember certain characters because they were literally associated with their name, like Lightning. Yeah. There was a character named Lightning, and this little guy right here in the... Is that a fedora? Dear God. Oh no, you know what that is? It's an old military hat. I remember drawing him in that. Okay, we're safe. So I'm just gonna get in and draw her. Gonna go for 3/4 for that classic. Should probably pull up a reference for Dalmatians, but let's see if I remember them. So, how I would draw her now with the same design. And what I remember is that, obviously, like what you can see, is that she was covered in question marks, and that she had one in the middle of her face that led down to her nose, and I thought that was fun. Like that, and I think that they were purple. I know that they were purple. Why am I saying I think? I remember everything about this character. Like, I remember drawing her, I remember dressing up as her one year, because she was essentially me. Oh, should I give her the hair? Let's give her the hair in this one. My first kind of furry design. I don't really remember a lot about her personality. I think it kind of changed up throughout the years. The characters were kind of just 2-dimensional, and I would attach whatever I wanted to onto them. wasn't exactly something that I thought about from the ages of 6 to 13. I could draw her as an anthroform, I guess, because there is one. But let's just go for this for now. You know what? Let's redraw this original one of her sitting. I like the idea of doing a redraw almost. I was learning about dog anatomy, and you can see, like, oh yeah, there's a knee there. That's interesting. But, not much else going on. And yeah, when I was a kid, you probably saw some footage of the sketchbooks that I was talking about. I did not draw people, like, at all. So, like, the difference between, like, dogs and humans, in my attempts to draw them was insane. So yeah, from what I remember, oh, I drew that on the wrong layer. Dalmatian, covered in question marks. So let's line this real quick and go in, and then I'll just do the question marks as a line layer. Try and make this as quick as possible. But yeah, I was one of those kids that was just animals with hair. Those were my ideas, and I thought that it was awesome and totally original. And I didn't even like know about warrior cats as a kid, so like, I don't know, is that just some sort of like universal experience among artists? So you just draw animals with people hair and you're like, yes, this is it. I think there were a few stories that you'd watch and you'd be like, oh, okay, you know, like, oh god, Lion King. Lion King was probably what did it for me. Lion King was probably what, like, oh, this character has hair, I love that. Vitani, she's where it's at. Because I think for a while I'd also just draw dogs, like, you know, just regular dogs, and they wouldn't have hair. And then I gave them hair. And yeah, let's see, talking about the story. So, Mystery Pup, as I initially called it. Does that work? Is she a little cross-eyed? Was initially, it turned in, it was about superhero dogs. And kind of turned into fantasy, secret organization, just absolute. How do question marks work? No wonder I was so obsessed with her. So they're being like, how do I make this work? Should I make this part wider? Looks kind of like a 2 that way, doesn't it? That works. It's in the wrong spot, though. Perspective. There we go. But God, yeah, it was everything, you know? It was that type of story that it was just like, when you're a kid, you pile on, like, every trope and feeling that you can push into it because it's your story, you know? This is like your magnum opus of a story. It's been with you for years, and you're not giving up on it. And, then I gave up on it. So, yeah, how did this hair work? To be honest, I haven't drawn anthro in a minute, so putting hair on a dog, it's a bit of a challenge. Get her little wispies down here. I still have no idea really what I'm going to do in terms of like designing her human form. So I'm trying to get a feel for her and remember exactly what I had in mind when I drew her initially. Because I know there's stuff there somewhere in my brain pan that remembers everything about this girl. Because yeah, she was the big sister, but not the biggest sister. She was the middle child, like me. She was essentially, you know, me in dog form for a little while, so she was a little, tomboyish. Didn't like dresses. Should probably give her short hair in human form then, huh? Or in her... I don't know. So I always had long hair back then. Could base her off of me as a teenager, but I was kind of boring as a teenager, so, you know. Gosh, but yeah, there were werewolves, and there were superpowers, and there was magic, and then like it was like dogs, superpowered dogs that had been experimented on, that escaped from the human world and found this one dimension, and then there was a war, and then there was separation of these two groups, and then it's very Secret of Nim. Just all sorts of different stories at once. And I loved it. Every second of it. I'm still, you know, like, you look back at yourself as a kid and you're just in awe of all the ways that you just unabashedly created. You know, you just made stuff that made you happy. And I don't know, when I redraw these characters, I just try to, I want to channel that, you know? I want to figure out what exactly got me into this in the first place. And I think that's a good place to be, which is, again, why I deeply encourage keeping your old artwork. Because, again, I guarantee, like, no matter how embarrassing your old story was, your old artwork, you're going to look back on it and you're going to be like, I'm so glad I saved this. I'm so glad I saved this, because you're going to develop some humility about it. And then you're going to laugh so hard, and it's in a good way, because it's like, I changed so much. I'm a different person, and you kind of struggle with that when you're younger, or when you're just starting out, because you want to think that you're awesome, and you want to remove any implication that you're not. But that's not how progress works, baby. And then be kind of all over the place for spots, and I tried to like make it more cohesive at times. Probably only gonna do a few of these. Make them like kind of messy, so kind of natural looking. Looks kind of like Rorschach. Loved Crypto the Super Dog. That was another one that really inspired this series to continue in my brain for a good while. Don't worry, I'm not coloring these question marks purple for the sake of it, because she was my purple girl. Love purple. Something that I continued into my adulthood, although definitely not as devotedly. Purple was one of my favorite colors when I was a kid. And continues to be one of my favorite colors. Not the easiest to work with, though. Like, unless you're using pastels. I used to love, like, deep purple. Like Mardi Gras purple. I'm gonna avoid putting others on her face, because I think I did that in other iterations, too, yeah. And then, like regular Dalmatians, I'm gonna try and give her some bigger spots in some areas, and smaller in others. Also, just to better cover up her body. Should I do some backwards? Ooh. Just meet her cousin in Tarot Bang. Exclamation, question mark put together, that. She didn't canonically have a cousin in Tarot Bang. That was a joke. And then I have to get a little bit more messy, and then just turn into dots near the bottom of her legs. Just cute. You know, I'm trying to give the design its day. This idea, trying to flesh it out, because I want to make myself as a tween happy. That's my goal in life these days, is to make myself as a tween happy. And myself as a 5-year-old sitting there drawing dogs, and finally, like, I know how they work. We can do this, little me. We've come this far. Maybe some of them kind of connected, so they're kind of more. Yeah. Well, that's a weird one. Now I'm just going with what comes to mind. Blink. Sure. Boink. Wait. Boink. That one definitely looks like a 2. Oh well. You can't all be perfect. Not, not in reality. There we go. Then what? Do you want to give her a dipstick tail? It really just continues with the exclamation with the question marks. So maybe I just. Yeah, I'll just give her a weird tail. There. Or a purple tail, I guess, if I'm going in with her, making her spots purple. Yeah. Oh, so very like. Oh, 101 Dalmatians. 101 Dalmatians was definitely what got me obsessed with mystery. I think that was my turning point, being like, oh, it needs to be a Dalmatian. Needs to be a Dalmatian. Look at that! Oh, it's so weird to see this. Okay. What color of purple should I do? Should I do that Mardi Gras purple I was talking about? I kind of want to get a redder one. Yeah, that feels more her color. Now, at least. I'll just make all the lines purple and then go back in with black where I need it. No, I probably don't. This is a dark enough color. Okay. Maybe just the pupils. And the nose, if I'm going to fill it in. When it comes to the redesign, I think oh, there's a line overlapping here. 1 second. I think that I come up with an idea a little while ago that I thought might be funny. That if this concept were to be revisited, I would probably make it like a kid's book. I could call it like PI, Puppy Investigators. It could be about like solving life's problem or something like that, you know? I don't know. If I were younger, I mean, I still did watch it with, younger children, but if I were around and watching little kid shows at the time that Paw Patrol came out, woo! I would have loved it. That would have been my jam. So I want to make something in the spirit of that. Because, yeah, I think her redesign, I want her to be a puppy. Goes around solving life's mysteries. So not necessarily like actually solving mysteries, but like, something spooky happens and they deduce what's going on in a very childish way, and maybe like at first they fall prey to like, suspicion and overreaction and stuff like that, and then they realize the reality of it and they learn the lessons that way. Chubby new legs. Like, this one character in the original series who was a werewolf, and like, I don't know what you're thinking too. Like, you mean like a person that turned into a wolf? No, it was a wolf who turned into a bigger wolf, essentially like the Hulk, and dogs. So yeah, that existed.
And instead of having question mark over her nose, maybe she'd have it over her eye, just on the one side. And I remember, I think I used to do this too. Or maybe it's like kind of in the middle, skew, and then her eye has a spot around it. It's cute. Look at the little puppy. And the rest of her is just kind of normal Dalmatian, but that's the special part. I'm trying to save some time, so I'm not labeling anything, so finding my layers. It's a challenge. I even thought it'd be funny to have a character similar to one of the other characters in the original story, renamed. This is something that I was coming up with while I was revisiting this idea before, by the way. I have a doodle of it, but it's not my favorite. It's like the new main character. His name's Laszlo, and he has these fantasies where he's top the fluff because I think that's adorable. He has these fantasies where he's a superhero and he saves the day from whatever it is that they're like overreacting about. And that can be kind of the homage to the original idea. That's funny because I remember when I was younger, I was like, it's not a kid's story. I want it to be something that like anyone can enjoy. And I'm like, I think it would make a cute little kid story. Obviously, it could be for anyone to enjoy because those things are not mutually exclusive. Things exclusively made for children or made with children in mind, and things that adults can enjoy. Because it's adorable. It's been forever just trying to draw a circle. I'm going to shorten up this little body a little bit because her head's too small. We're going for puppy proportions here. Like, I still want that chubby body, but it should be shorter. And I'm being silent again because I'm designing something new. Don't really have much else to say, I guess. I mean, oh yeah, in the story idea that I had, that they think that the character gets reintroduced and they think that they're werewolves, whether they're like, I don't know, husky puppies or something, but they're just kind of weird and like, you know, something about first impressions and societal expectations. I don't know. It's not a perfect science yet. I've only played around with the concept. Go for a little bit more of a cartoony look with this one. Just get all the cuteness going for it. Want a cartoonish design here. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, I love her. I'm so glad that I drew something while recording that isn't completely awful. Look at that! Oh my gosh. Okay. And then, how would I go about this? Do I want it? So, like, she's got a little spot underneath her eye. And then, yeah, would it just be sideways on her forehead? It's like Blue's Clues meets Paw Patrol meets like Bunnicula was my idea. So in the Bunnicula, it's like, it's not really dangerous. It's just a rabbit that eats carrots a weird way and is immortal. Like, how cool is that? It's immortal. Like, maybe it's got evil intentions, but I mean, I don't know what. It would just eat all the carrots that a normal rabbit ate. I don't you know? So that sense of like, oh, this thing is new and weird. It's evil. Like, really? You know, the guy that animates the Mystery Skulls videos his character has a question mark on his Scooby-Doo-esque collar, so, you know, maybe that doesn't stay, but it is cute. There's another mystery in town, okay? She's been around longer. Look at that. Oh, she's so cute. I missed you, girl. Alright. Do you do one of her paws black? Would that be cute? Be kind of hard to discern with the way that I line this. Let's leave it be for now. And we will share white. Wrong layer. Darn it! I gotta. Oh man. I put that on the wrong layer. It's fine. Ha. This is why I was trying to remember what layer I was on. Still failed. It's fine. All good. Oh well and dandy. Come on. There you go. Boop, boop, boop. Should I make her nose pink? That'd be cute. Yes. Oh my gosh, like oddball. Boop. You remember the puppy without spots from 102 Dalmatians, I think? The live action sequel? Yeah, that was a thing, wasn't it? I loved her though. Look at that. Yes. Okay, so yeah, that's her new design. If I were to redesign her now. Actually, should I have an ear hanging down here? Probably add to the silhouette. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that. Cuteness. Pure, unadulterated cuteness. Love it. Okay. Oh yeah. Human design. This one probably will take a while. I might I might shut up until I have the sketch done. Okay, I think this is a good place to come back and just kind of explain myself as I'm going along here. I'm thinking kind of a big old houndstooth jacket for her to wear to kind of emulate the dog spots. I'm not sure if I want to give her like a hat. I mean, she's not, in the original, she's not exactly a Sherlock Holmes type, so, you know. Her little one, that'd be cute. But yeah, like, I was thinking as I was drawing her that it'd be kind of funny. she's got this kind of houndstooth vest that I looked up. It's got like the big lapels here, and then her arms are kind of coming out. And she has like short sleeves under here. And you can see her arms, and she's got some vitiligo going on. So that it, again, kind of matches the spots idea. She's fairly young, I would say, in my design. Late teens, early 20s, because that's how I always imagined her when I was a kid. And at this point, aging her up doesn't really serve a purpose for me. But I don't know. I guess she could be my age. She's just kind of little looking. I also realized that I said that like her being like early 20s was young, and I'm sitting here like, I'm 22. But I don't know, I just mean like, I don't know, most of my characters that I would consider older now, like not older, but like getting into more my protagonist ages are starting to become more toward like 25, because I don't know, I like it better when my characters are older than me. It makes me feel like I still have hope to be competent. Yeah, is there any sort of story that those of you watching, did you ever make a story that was like maybe something that you've lost but you reintegrated into something? Because I know that a lot of these stories, like as I developed, like the nature of them was very experimental, and so like a lot of the character aspects that I started developing as I grew up became a part of my characters, and like just found their way into my other stories. So even though Mystery Pup does not exactly live on in the way that I think, little kid me and tween me would have hoped, it has developed into a whole bunch of different stories, because it was essentially a whole bunch of different stories. I just wanted to put everything I was inspired by into it because it was my story, and I liked it.
Hello there, it's Odd from the future. Majority of the end of this video got kind of cut off in the editing process somehow, so I'm just going to do a little outro here. It was similar rambling, really, about the nature of the character, and that I didn't really have a further idea of who she was, even though I really do like the human design. And just like looking back at it and thinking about just how much I put into the story when I was younger, and coming back to this character is sort of like drawing an old friend. And it's nostalgic. It's almost a little sad because I don't know as much about this character anymore, and I don't have as much of a connection to her. It feels like when you realize that you're a much different person than when you were a kid, I guess. Not to get a little deep there. I had a lot of fun doing this, and I'm excited to do it with some other characters that I want to show you and talk about some of my other, like, really insane stories. So, I hope that you enjoyed this, and I will see y'all next time.